What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another update. Today I'm going to be giving you guys an update on the livestock in terms of what some new stuff that I've gotten for the tank. But before we go through that, I want to show you guys some things that I'm changing up. This is from pretty much last update. We had the doser that leaked because we had some backed up, calc glosser deposit, and anyways, it caused it to back up. It leaked from one of those units, and then you can kind of see some of the residue there. It wasn't hanging on this wall, it was actually back here. Bought it from IKEA, kind of made like a little mini cabinet thingy out of it, but I wanted to show you guys the new one. I'm still kind of going to have to, do some water management, but for the most part, I at least have it up and running. I was waiting on really just that part here. I just installed it today, just kind of hang the power supply blocks on the wall there. There's a couple extra ones, so eventually I think I'm going to put in MP40, so I just have that there. This is an extra one over here just in case if I need to move certain wires around. But for the most part, that's what it's going to look like. And then, I'm going to tidy some of the wires at some point. And over here is the doser. So you're probably wondering, we had the leak on the last one. Could it leak again? Yes, it can. This time what I did was I put a little bin down here that can catch potential leaks. So if it drips, it'll just drip in this little container here along with the doser. So it's all sitting in this little container. So if it does drip, we'll have something to catch that. So that's kind of one thing I got around to doing, was trying to figure out how to do preventative, leaks again. So that's one way to handle that. But the other thing that I did was, instead of putting the calc glosser on one of this here, I put it on a, kind of go back over here. We'll kind of go over some of this update in a little bit too, so don't worry about it. We put it on an Ecotech Versa. This pump is way more silent. I like it a lot better. It runs, it can run 24/7, similar to the Neptune dose. The only difference that I've noticed is it's just 10 times way more quiet. And I have it over here. As you can see the drip here. You can kind of see the drip right there. It's not dripping right now, but as it turns, it drips into here and it just gets mixed up in there. I was trying to figure out a place to put it. I was going to put it over here, but I was kind of debating because this is where my Trident gets pulled in the back, and I didn't want it to kind of mess with potentially some of the testing results in the water. I just needed like a fresh batch of water over here, so decided to move it over here. It has more flow and whatnot anyways. Also, I zip tied it to this thing here, so if it ever backs up or leaks, like from one of these things here, it would just get deposited straight into the tank without having to worry about any mess, similar to what happened last time. So I think that this is probably the fix around of what's going on. I could have easily taken that and hung it in the back wall, but then it's not touching the sump here, so it would just potentially leak in the back if there was a leak. So I had to figure out how to get this over the tank. I could have hung it or put it on this side of this, but then we would have had wires across here. But anyways, I think this will work fairly well. I think that's probably a good solution for now. And then on the other side, again, the wires are not tidied up. I also have these blue tapes on here because I was numbering where each of the slots were coming from. So that way when I unplug them, I can just replug them back in. But anyways, there it is. So I bought basically two of these mini boards. I was debating of getting one big one for both sides, but then obviously it costs twice as much, but then I don't really have a lot of things on the outside here that needed to be mounted on the outside. A lot of it honestly was the power supply block, and this is just more of hey, we just needed something to be hanging on the wall, so I just got two of the mini ones that worked perfectly, because that's all I needed was just something on here, just mounted to the wall, and then all the blocks are down here. Again, the wires need to be tidied up and whatever, right? But for the most part, we got everything up and running at least, so that's a plus. And again, we have all that. This one is not meant, this one on the far left is the gyre. They didn't have one for the gyre. I'm pretty sure I didn't ask for a custom one. But anyways, They didn't have one, so I just kind of just like bought 3 of these. This is for the Ecotech X15s, and as you can see, it just kind of just sits a little bit higher because the power supply cable here, it's actually supposed to be in the middle, and this one's on the far right or whatever. But anyways, it still works out for me. That's fine. This one here is going to be the MP40 slot, so eventually, again, whenever I do need the MP40s in there, it's ready to go. You can just, you know, put them in here for more flow eventually when things grow in. And then we have the kelp glosser unit here. I'm just gonna put it back in the corner where it was before. And for the most part, we got everything on the wall, everything looking real nice. I really like this now because also, like, you know, this is on the wall. I can kind of see the menu there in terms of a quick like glance of the tanks parameters. Well, I haven't opened up the computer or whatever, so it's really nice. Oh, and also I got around to cleaning the fans of all of these finally, so it's going to perform a lot better, so everything is good there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the livestock. No new fishes or anything like that, so we'll kind of just skip over the fish. Everything, you know, everyone looks like they're doing pretty good, pretty healthy for the most part. I did add some more of these digis from, you know, them getting clipped or falling on the floors. There's still more pieces on the floor. I just kind of just glued them onto here just to let them grow as I find pieces on the floor and whatnot. But new pieces. You guys are interested in new pieces. So we got a new piece here, new coral. Actually, do I need to swap to the blue? It's more white right now anyway, so I think we're good. It's more white color, so we should be okay. This is a magic carpet mushroom. This is from CK, so this is Cali Kids magic carpet mushroom, their version of it. So that's new. These are old, so we'll skip past that. Got a new, another version of magic carpet. It looked to me, to be honest, it looks like a flash bounce, and I'll show you a flash bounce that I've also gotten. The color is just slightly different, where it's a little bit more bright green, but again, I can't really tell because it's much smaller. And I'll show you across here. So this is a flash bounce. It basically is a magic carpet mushroom, except for the colors are a little bit different. Like the base is green, it has red. Like a little bit more like a maroon red, and then like white. So that's why it's called a flash bounce, because the colors are like, it reminds people of like the Flash from the DC Comics. This is a magic carpet mushroom here. So similar, but it's just, as you can see, you know, similar like bounces and stuff to it. It's just like the colors are kind of swapped around a little bit. Like here, the bounces for this one is like yellow and orange-ish, yellowish maybe. And then, you know, this one's on the white side. So going back to this guy here, as you can see, the base is more green. The white bounce is there. It's a little hard to see. And the red is kind of a little bit more dark. So this could be a, you know, a better version of the flash bounce mushroom. And then the thing is, I bought this, it wasn't a flash bounce mushroom. It wasn't called that. It was just called an ultra, you know, magic carpet mushroom or whatever it was. And I looked at the colors from the, at least from the pictures at least, it looked like a really nice version, potential version of the flash bounce. That's why I bought it. Just gonna grow it out and see. So it has no name or whatever to it. It's just kind of just a wild mushroom that's potentially a flash bounce. So that would be really cool if we have a version of that. And if that's the case, probably add like a handle to that or something like that if it's looking much better than this. Anything new here? No, it's just more mushrooms growing. So these are like some of the moms of the magic carpets. There's another mom I placed way back there. And then these are the tequila sunsets. And then up here, oh, we did move some stuff around, forgot. So the green slimer was over there. I moved it over here to kind of give it a little bit more light up there as well. I also rotated because this is where it was kind of pointing, the green was on the other side. So we'll see if it does, you know, much better or not. We'll see if that helps. We moved the torch that was kind of hanging here from over here. I had two more torch that I gotten that I was going to put over here and here, and I actually did. I had to take it back down because I got it like a week ago. and it was sitting on the floor here for like 2 days, and then I decided to move it up. And I think I moved it up way too fast because as you can see, like from down here to here to here, the par is probably like double at least. So the torch did not like it. I don't think. It did fine for, you know, about a week or so, and then like it just started to like not really like it. So I've been doing a small dip, and you'll kind of see it down here. Here's one of them right here. It retracted a little bit, and I'll probably keep it on the stand bed for a while, let it like kind of adjust, and then slowly move it up. I also had it under like an acclimation lighting where it was like kind of a certain percentage and going up, but still I just didn't like it. So we'll just keep it on the sand bed, because I had it in the sand bed for a couple of days and it looked like it was really thriving with like the tentacles kind of flying out and everything. So that was my fault for kind of just rushing things and just, you know, anyways, trying to get it up to these mountains, because I was like, oh man, I want to have it up here and just all the flows and stuff, because that guy was over here and it was flowing really nicely. I was like, oh, I want to have it up there. But even this guy here, so he was on here for a while, and I moved it from there to there, and he even retracted because obviously like it's higher, right? And then so he's getting more par up here, and he's still kind of getting used to that area up here. So me jumping from all the way down here to up here was probably a big hit. So I'm thinking I'm gonna probably move a sand bed to here, to up here, and then here, you know, eventually just like a slow progression. But anyways, that guy looks like he's not happy, so we'll kind of take it slow for him. And then also I have another guy that's similar that was not happy, and we lost like potentially a head already because of that. And again, that's my fault for rushing things, so we'll kind of have to take it slow again. So anyways, we have him down here. This par here is much like less intense, so hopefully that guy recovers, and then we'll move him back up to the stand bed over there. This guy was doing okay, and then we're going to kind of just keep him in the stand bed area. So 1 second, let me put him back in. All right, so there it is. I put it back in there. It's pissed off, so we'll give it a couple days down there on the bottom. And the reason why I am getting torches, I initially wasn't gonna put actually any torches in this tank at all. It was just gonna be, you know, some mixed reef, but like no torches, because I wasn't really that interested in torches. We had NEMs, but then my last NEM kind of like disappeared in the tank. I don't know what happened to it. It was like back there and it moved and it just like disappeared. So we don't have any NEMs in the tank. So the clownfish are like trying to find a place to host. And then also my angel, so this regal, and then the guy back there, the blue face, has been eating specific corals. So they'll eat specific mushrooms. They'll eat basically all LPS that has tissue to it. They do pick at the digis from time to time. You can see like stuff will fall down, they'll break it off, and things will just kind of fly on the floor. But these guys grow pretty fast or pretty decently where it's okay. And so I've been trying to figure out what I can keep up on these high areas here that these guys won't eat. And one of them I decided to try was the torch. I did that guy first. This is the OG Holy Grail torch. And I'm over in the bottom over here, perfectly fine. Everything was really good. And so I wanted to add in a couple more torches just to kind of really fill this area out, just kind of have it a lot of wave, because that's where the gyre kind of meets in this area, and it creates like a pretty nice turbulence in this area. And so I want to just kind of fill that in. And obviously, you know, we're gonna get a lot of this filled in from the digis eventually, and I think down the road I'm gonna try acros again, because this guy's doing fine. A lot of the acros that I had when I started like last year or tried to do acros, they didn't get picked at. So I know that the angels and, you know, the angels here at least won't pick at the acros. Well, they'll probably pick at it, but they won't like, you know, kill it or whatever, like kind of what with the mushrooms. Like for the mushrooms, I actually tried one of the like these nicer mushrooms up here in this cage, and literally within like an hour or 2 hours to come back to look at it, and it was completely gone. Like they ate it. They like completely like eaten all of like the mushrooms. So they eat specific mushrooms. I don't know which one. I literally have to try, you know, put it up here, see if they actually will take a bite of it. If they take a bite of it, I just pull it back down. Like even with these power balls, I had them up here for a long time, they did fine. Like these guys did fine, but then like I had a couple that was over on this side, and they ate one of them. They actually like tore off like a huge chunk and killed one of them. And I was like, oh man, it's like now I can't even keep like, you know, these mushrooms up here because like I can barely keep anything on like the sand bed with these guys because they just kill everything. So like some of these mushrooms are fine. Like these, they don't touch any of the magic carpets. So if I have magic carpets, I'll be fine up here. And versions of the magic carpet, which is like this flash bounce, this flash bounce here. The OG bounce does fine up here, which is surprising. They don't get picked at. This guy here is not happy, but it doesn't get picked at. Same thing with this version of the magic carpet. So certain mushrooms do okay up here, and that's why I'm trying to figure out which ones I can keep up here and which ones I can't. But yeah, let's go ahead and sump. This is going to be hard to see. You're probably not going to be able to see anything. But we have a lot of new things down here. A lot of mushrooms that I can't keep up in the main display because of the angels, which is unfortunate. So first off, the big chalice, that rainbow chalice that I had, it was huge. It was like almost like 5 inches in diameter. I ended up cutting it to little pieces. We have a couple pieces that are actually selling, which is these 4 here. This one I'm keeping to regrow back out, and there's another one that I kind of just combined in the back here. Back here, under there, actually under the thing here. Just to see if they would graph like at different colors or whatever. And that's that torch that wasn't too happy. That was up there that moved down here. But yeah, just to kind of see if we can kind of get some weird color mixes or whatever. And then some new stuff here. So we got a new chalice here. Looks very nice. I forgot what it's called. It's called like the Insanity or something like that. Chalice. This came from the wild. They kept it for about, I think, a year before this was actually posted. So recently moved it from the back, so I kept all of my new chalices. I actually have more new chalices like under this like rack here to kind of get really low like lighting, and then a couple weeks, 3 weeks or so in, I would pull it out and put them out here. But now I'm running out of room actually here to keep stuff, so they're just sitting in the back. They're just sitting in the back. All these are Powerball mushrooms. So I had like a little like frag that it sat in, and there was like maybe like 6 or 7 baby spawns of Powerballs that just sat in here, and I took, you know, I got some time and I actually cut up some of these guys with the bandsaw and was able to put some of these babies on here. And looking up top here, we got some like just different Yumas that really are no names, and like some mushrooms. Like this is a no-name mushroom. Same thing back here. You know, from the pictures, it looked more yellow, to be honest. Like this one I got for free, but this one here, like it looked more yellow in the picture. But then when I got it, it was kind of like a dull color, so I'm not sure if we're gonna get anything out of it, but it's gonna be fun to just kind of grow it out. This one's a new one. This is the rainbow bounce Rhodaptus mushrooms from Cali Kid. This is some old one here. Oh, my one mushroom I got that looks freaking crazy. So I got this from TSA, and it was literally just it looked like this. So this is a baby of it. So imagine this baby, and it was more red, okay? It was more red, to be honest. It looked like this, more red, but it had like maybe not even a bounce that looked like crazy like that. It had like maybe like 1 or 2 like little bounces, like it kind of like down here. You see how like the middle area had like some pretty nice big bounces. It looked more like those little ones down here. It looked like it had like 1 or 2 little bounce to it, and you kind of see it like here. And it was sitting on the website for a while when it was like way expensive, and then like they they lowered it, and then it was still kind of expensive. But I was like, you know what? It's a bounce jawbreaker, because it was basically just called a bounce jawbreaker type, and it did not look anything like this, by the way. It was just red. It had maybe 1 streak of yellow, and that was it. No purple, like one or two little bounce to it. And I was like, ah, it was like a baby, like literally this size. And I was just like, you know what? Let me just try. I like to try to see what it potentially can grow into. And dude, look at this thing. It has all this purple that develops. It has the nice yellow like stripes to it. And all I need is to grow like maybe some little green and call this bad boy a purple monster. I mean, technically it is. But to me, it looks more like a Deadpool, but like minus like the with the Deadpools, they have like patches of purple, but this is like streaks of purple. So I don't know. This thing looks real nice. And then luckily, like I said, it dropped a baby because it like moved because I had it centered, and then like it moved down a little bit, and then that baby literally just dropped. So it originally was sitting on that 2-inch frag here, the mom was, and then I scraped off the mom and put it onto this 3-inch disc because it needed more, you know, space and room to grow. And then I left the baby on the 2-inch, and it's growing right now. So it's just like an orange color now, but it maybe will potentially look like this or even better. We'll see. And then we have more chalices back there. We have the cosmic candy or whatever, the WWC one that's back there. We got another one. This is the sun drop, the WWC sun drop. And then this is the TSA one. I forgot what this one was, this one back there. But got a couple new chalices. Again, sadly, I don't even want to put the chalices up there because I know the angelfish would just destroy it. There was only one chalice that did fine up there. It was the Hollywood Stunner chalice, but I actually traded that in because I really didn't, I got it for free and I really didn't care much for that one. And it was just interesting that I was able to grow up there without getting picked at. And then we got some new stuff here. We got some SR Berserker. This is a TSA White Widow. And then got the clams are over there. Let's see what else is new. This is the Rainbow Bounce. What is this? This guy's kind of fully retracted right now, but this is the over the seven Rainbow Bounce mushroom. That's what it's called. It's from Asia. Then over here, oh yeah, I put this guy here, which is the Frank Bounce mushroom. Up in the display, and they got eaten or got bitten off. So this guy here, as you can see here, they got tore up. And then so I put it back down here. Again, it was doing fine for like a couple days, and then boom, those angels went after it. So I'm telling you, those angels are crazy. And then I got a couple new ones down here. This is kind of like a kryptonite-ish. Then this is kind of a rainbow Yuma, a nice MC Electus Bounce mushroom. So I have another one that's over here that's more like of a green. That one right there. It's more of like a green and red color to it. The other one over here is kind of like a different like red and green. So pretty nice. And then we got some other cool stuff. Plates. Never had plates before. We got this WWC Diablo plate. That guy's been growing pretty nicely, to be honest. It's coloring up really nicely. This, when I got it, was only a quarter size, and it's only been a couple weeks, and it's kind of getting pretty big. Like, it was like, so you take that, it's on a 3-inch disc. It's not glued, it's just kind of floating there or sitting there. And imagine it only being a fourth of the size when I got it, and now I'm like, that's gotten so big. It's so nice. This guy is also new. This is, what is it? An Austria Musa. I haven't found really much information except for Tidal Garden's like one video on it. There seems to not be much info on this. I can't even figure out like where the mouth and stuff is for it. Like I can't even like determine like where to cut this guy if I wanted to frag it or how to. Apparently it's like similar to a chalice. That's why I got it to kind of grow and see what it looks like. I got some unknown mushrooms over here that looked very similar to the one up top over there. And again, in the pictures, it look more yellow, but like it just, in person, it just looks more green. And they look pretty much similar, so I don't know. Maybe a dud. Oh, my Godzilla I got is looking, Godzilla is looking crazy by the way. All the lights in the way, but so this Godzilla, I transferred it to a new plate or a new little thing here because where's the other one? Where's Godzilla? Oh, over here. So over here, it dropped a couple babies. This is where it was originally. I cut the plate off there with the bandsaw, and then just moved the mother over here, and it's just chilling over there. And then this Candy Crush, I got this Candy Crush as well recently. It was a huge Candy Crush. It was almost like basically full, like this is not fully expanded, but when it's fully expanded, it's like basically a 3-inch Candy Crush. But the reason why I got this is because it has some bounce to it. Look at that, at the very edges. So it's a Candy Crush bounce mushroom, which is very cool. You don't really see that stuff, you know? So I've been just kind of keeping an eye out on some just rare stuff or some cool stuff with like bounces or whatnot to it, and just kind of picking it up. And then the chalices back there are growing really nicely. We got some other chalice, Goldmeister back there. What is this? This is a freebie chalice that's under there. I don't even know what that one's called. And I think that's it. Oh, and then we got a couple mushrooms that are under there as well. Can't really see anything, to be honest. We got too many things that are taking up way too many things over here, and they're just kind of all hidden in the back now. Oh, and then also down here, while we're at it, this has grown really nicely finally back. The refugium, the macroalgae, is starting to grow pretty nicely. We got this little guy in here because he was getting beat up in the main display. Also down here, we got a tropical abalone. We got 2 of them in here. We got 2 of them in the main display. They're actually kind of cool. I got rid of a few urchins to kind of like, you know, substitute these guys in because I don't think we had enough algae for all of them. So I think I got rid of 4 urchins, and I still have a couple, like, you know, tuxedo urchins in the tank. It's just more of just trying to balance things out. And I got 4 tropical abalones right now. So during the day, they just literally stay put. They don't do anything. They just sit here and they just sleep. But at night is when they come out and they actually move around a lot. And they're pretty like hardy. It seems like they're just kind of running around. I honestly have not noticed a difference in terms of improvement for the glass quite as much. A lot of the hair algae here and there, like along here, you can see there's like a lot of algae along the walls here. It's about the same. The urchins does a pretty good job at doing, you know, cleaning that and just keeping that kind of maintained. These guys, I've noticed that, you know, they clean the glass pretty decently, but you still get algae in the tank and then the glass wall. So they eat algae fairly well, but I don't know if they eat it that much and that fast. So, you know, I was kind of worried because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get 4, and then like, you know, it might be too much. But honestly, I think we could probably get a couple more and still be okay. But I know they do grow, and they grow pretty big. So we'll probably kind of just keep the guys that we have now and just let them grow into whatever, and then see. So, you know, you got a tuxedo urchin back there. That guy's just been running around eating everything, you know. Oh, and then there's a bunch of the Trophia snail babies that you see along the walls. They're just growing everywhere. Let me see if I can try to find, oh, here it is. Here's the other abalone, the tropical. It's just glued there on the wall. You can kind of see it on the rock there. And like I said, they'll just sit there in the daytime, like when the lights are out, they'll just literally just won't move. They just sit there. And then at night, when the lights are kind of all coming down and they're all off, they'll just start picking up and moving around. Very interesting little guys. They move pretty fast for the little body. And you know, I've had them for, let me see, I had them for at least like 3 weeks to a month now. And you know, they're doing pretty good. I mean, they're pretty hardy, I would say. They're just running around. Too concerned about adding extra algae because, you know, from what I read, they're like, oh, they eat a lot of algae. They need, you know, extra like nori if there's not a bunch of algae in the wall and stuff. And up here, to be honest, in this main display, there's a lot of algae on the wall. And I try to leave at least the back panels with algae, the side panels on this one at least sometimes. And I normally like would, you know, scrape off the front panel and this panel because it's like for viewing on the side. And I've noticed that, you know, for the most part, there's still algae in the wall, you know, so they're probably getting plenty of algae to eat off of. And occasionally, like, you know, some week I'll actually skip the scraping and just leave it there so that some of these guys will get some more algae, just in case. But yeah, I mean, they're doing fine, I think, in terms of algae. That was the one thing I was worried is, like, man, do I have enough algae in the wall to house all these guys? Because there's only 2 up here and 2 down here. Down the sump it gets a little bit more light, and it gets a little bit more algae down there. So I'm okay with them down there, but it's more up here because we have a lot of like algae grazers and all that stuff. Like the rock, like before when the, you know, last year or 2 years ago when, or was it last year? Yeah, last year when the tank was just kind of like maturing a little bit, we had like so much algae on like the rocks and everywhere, and I was just like, man, we can't control it. But now like it's literally spotless on the rocks, and it's like barely any algae for these guys to eat except for the ones on the glass. And occasionally, like, you know, with nori and stuff like that, and that's it. You know, that's the only algae you see on the main display. So I was a little bit worried, but I think they're gonna be okay. But yeah, so that's the update on the tank. I just want to kind of give you guys a quick run through of all the new stuff. A lot of basically soft corals, some LPS. And the only sad thing that I'm really sad about is I can't put it on the main display tank. I can't keep it up here and show you guys like, oh my god, look at this chalice, look at this cool mushroom that I got. And it's because of this guy and that guy back there that are preventing that from happening. And you know, I've been thinking to myself like, man, you know, if I gotten rid of those 2 guys or like trade those 2 guys in, then I can probably keep everything and anything up here with no problem. But come on, man, you can't get rid of that guy. Look at him, look how beautiful that guy is. And look at this guy back here, look at that guy back there, look at that beautiful guy. Man, I went back actually on when I first gotten this blueface. This blueface was so small, it was like half the size of this guy. The color was just barely coming in, so the blue wasn't really blue or bright. And I was just like, man, that guy has grown so much. And you know, I'm not gonna get rid of these guys. These guys are just too nice, and you know, they've stuck around with me for quite a while, and I just need to honestly like pick the right corals to keep in here, and the rest can kind of either stay in the sump and potentially in another tank if I ever need more room, wherever that time comes, right? We can set up another tank or something like that and keep the rest of the frags or keep the rest of the colonies in there. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, guys, peace. We got a bunch of poop matter on here. Latest.